Hello everybody. Hello, my name is Leah Wilson-Felis. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is a recorded video that is done with a live Zoom video for the Teller County Community Partnership. And so if you've been joining me these last couple months, then we've been talking about the 8 limbs of yoga. And so the 8 limbs of yoga is this path that these ancient yogis followed to be able to reach enlightenment, if you will, or just a place of bliss. I like to call it sadhana, or samadhi. Samadhi. So sadhana is the practice to get to samadhi. And so samadhi is just bliss. It's just this place of feeling good in our body and our mind. So the last couple of weeks I've been talking about the yamas, and the yamas are the things to kind of not do, like not stealing and not lying, not being attached, things like that. And so now we're talking about the niyamas, which are the things to do. And so last week, if you joined me, we were talking about saucha, and saucha is cleanliness or purification. And so now the second niyama is called Santosha, and Santosha means contentment. And so it's really, really simple. The mudra and mudras are hand positions. So we're going to do a little hand position, a little quick meditation before we start our practice, just to kind of bring ourselves into our body and into this moment. So the mudra is really simple. You just touch the tips of these 4 fingers. So pinky, ring, middle, index finger, just the tips of those fingertips, and the thumbs remain extended. That's it. And so your fingers kind of represent like a bubble, like the front of your body. And these 4 fingers represent the 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. And when all of those 4 directions come together in the middle, you're kind of right where you are, you know, and you're working with a compass, and you're looking at all those 4 directions. You are the center of that compass. And so that's what Santosha, or contentment, is really all about, is bringing it all back into you, into home. And so you can let your hands just rest in your lap here. And we're going to start to close our eyes, or lower the gaze down if you'd like. So you can just kind of stare at a spot on the floor if it feels uncomfortable to close your eyes, or close your eyes completely. And we're going to imagine that our breath is moving into the front of our body. So as you inhale, feel the belly expand, the chest, the heart, the sternum pull forward. And as you exhale, feel that whole front of the body squeeze back into the spine, or the center. And as you inhale, expand through the front of your body, the belly and the ribs and the sternum. And as you exhale, it compresses and squishes back in. So let's just do a couple breaths where we are focusing on the front, the anterior aspect of our body. So let's inhale and expand forward, and exhale and feel the front of the body squeeze back into the center. Continue with that front of the body breathing, anterior body breathing. If you notice your teeth touching, then try to separate your teeth so that you have like a long face and your tongue is not touching the roof of your mouth. And this allows this breath to move a little bit more freely, a little bit more expansive in the mouth, in that nasal cavity. Taking away the tension in the jaw and in the face. And so as we talk about contentment, it's kind of like this area in the middle. It's always the middle ground. It's not too much and it's not too little. It's kind of like we want to be playing Goldilocks while we practice yoga. We don't want our stretches to hurt, but we also don't want them to be nothing. So as we work through our practice today, that's what we should focus on, is not too much and not too little, somewhere right in the middle. Because as Santosha is, it's right in the center, right in the middle of the 4 directions. And so just know that at any time you're more than welcome to take a break, you're more than welcome to come to a pose that suits you. So make sure to listen to your body, modify as you will. I'll be offering a lot of modifications throughout the practice also. As we sit, let's take 3 more breaths, maybe with the mudra, maybe without. Just feeling your belly expand forward, your front of your body expanding, and as you exhale, compresses back to the center. Now let's start to add some movement. So let's bring our hands up to our heart center and kind of switch the fingers to one side so that the fingers can interlace. And we're going to press the palms down and lift our elbows up. And then I want you to just reach out towards the front of your mat or towards the camera if you're facing the camera so that you can stretch out your palms and your forearms. Now the first time that we do this, we'll wring out our body. So let's just start to wring our ribs to the left and our hands to the right. And then we'll spend a little time over here with our hands to the left and our ribs to the right. Take a breath, and then let's move to the right. So inhale, move to the right, and exhale, move to the left. And let's do it one more time. Inhaling, hands to the right, ribs to the left, and then switch. Exhale. Let's bring it back to center and scoop the hands up to the sky. And again, while we're here, if your hands are doing okay, you can rock from side to side, stretching out the ribs, stretching out the waist, and just starting to feel that expansiveness on each side. Now, I know our hands might be getting a little tired, so go ahead and release the arms, float them down behind, and drop your hands down. Squeeze those shoulder blades back, look up, let your head drop back a little bit. Take a big breath. Expand through the front of your body. And as you exhale, come on back to center. We're going to round over. Bring your hands forward. And then we'll slice our hands through the air, coming back to our heart center. Now we're going to add all of that together with our breath. So, inhale, interlace your fingers, lift your elbows. Exhale, press through your palms and round through your back. Inhale, reach up to the sky. And exhale, float your hands down. So release those interlaced fingers, drop your hands down. Let's inhale, open through the front of your body. Exhale, reverse it, round through the back of your body. Inhale, hands to heart center. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, lift your elbows. Exhale, press the palms out and round through your back. Inhale, bring your hands up to the sky. Still interlaced, and then we'll release the hands and bring them down to the ground right behind us. Inhale, open your chest. Exhale, float those hands forward, round through your back. And bring your hands right to heart center. Nice job, everyone. Now, if you need to switch your legs, please feel free. You don't need to sit like me. You can always stretch the legs out long if you'd like, or change that into something different for yourself. So make sure to sit however you're most comfortable. Now let's start moving our way back down through our body. So we'll start with a little bit of neck stretching here. So, I know a lot of us have been working on the computer a lot, especially from home these days. So, fingers grounded on either side. Let's lean our head to the left. And then we're going to take our right hand and we're going to try to bend our elbow and see if we can bring the right hand to the low back. Now, if that hurts your shoulder at all, then you're not going to want to do that. Release that. And if you want to, you can sweep your left hand up over your head, right to your right ear, and have your head just kind of lean over to the left. Your hand is assisting. Now, if there's any pain, you're no longer in contentment. So you want to back up a little bit if you're experiencing anything negative. You want to find that spot for you where it's right in the middle, where you can kind of hang out and breathe. Maybe you draw your head forward a little. Maybe you lift your chin a little, bringing those movements into different areas of the neck, the shoulder. Just exploring, and you choose how long you want to stay here. So when you'd like to, you can release the head, release the arms. You can feel a lot of warmth over there on that right side. And so let's mimic it on the left. We'll start to lean our head towards the left. We're going to sweep our left hand to our low back. Right hand can sweep up over the head for the left ear, bringing that full stretch into the left side of your neck. If you'd like, add some movement, drawing chin forward, lifting the nose up, and seeing how you can change the stretch, where you can feel the ultimate stretch. But remember, you want to feel content. You don't want it to be too intense or nothing at all. Find a good spot and take a breath. Whenever you're ready, release the hands. You can hang out as long as you want. And then from here, let's draw chin straight down to the chest so that you're looking straight down towards your lap. If you'd like to add a little bit more into the back of the neck, into the shoulder blades, then sweep your hands up and cup the back of your head, interlace the fingers, let your elbows relax to the side of your face, and start to just round over. You can bring that roundness into your shoulders, into your mid-back, shoulder blade area, lower back even, so that you're kind of rounding towards your lap. And then let's lift back up. Open the elbows wide, squeeze them back, press your head back into your hands. If your eyes are open, maybe gazing up towards the ceiling as well as you can. And then we'll release the hands, bring them back down, and let's extend the legs out. I know they're probably getting a little tired, so I'm going to extend my legs out. We want our feet to be separated here, so we don't want our toes to be touching. You also want to remind yourself to keep your toes and your knees pointed up towards the ceiling. We want to bring activity into the legs. And that's going to bring the stretch into our hamstrings, maybe into your lower back. So let's take a big inhale and sweep the hands up to the sky, maybe even gazing up. And as you exhale, follow the gaze down to your toes, maybe reaching for those toes, maybe reaching for your ankles, your shins, your knees. And we'll start to look down at the knees or at the belly. So you can kind of tuck the chin and start to round through the neck and upper back. Whatever feels good for you. So find a spot that feels nice, that you can be content. There's still a stretch, but it's not painful. Little discomfort is okay, but nothing that we can't breathe through. Let's start to roll back up to just seated with our legs long. Excuse me, we're going to relax our legs, so let those toes just kind of relax out, let your knees relax out, and bring your heels together. Okay, so with heels together, your knees, your legs resemble a diamond. And so we're going to reach for the heels or reach for that space in between the feet and the pelvis. and just kind of lean into that space. You're going to start to feel a stretch. Now, we're all going to feel it in different areas. I feel it more on my right leg, but it's more on the outside and the outer hamstrings. So I definitely feel it more on that right side. So that must mean my right leg is a little tighter today. And you're always welcome to add movement. So if it becomes too intense, you can always back up a little bit or rock slightly from left to right. And see how you can carve out your hips, carve out your low back. Don't forget to breathe. And to bring that contentment breath, you want to focus on the front of your body. Inhaling to expand the front. Exhaling to compress back in. It's hard to keep our mind in one spot when we're focusing on our body, our feelings, the feeling of the sensation, but also the breath. Now let's start to bring ourselves back up. Extend the legs out, give them a little break, wiggle them out. Let's keep our right leg straight and we'll stretch it out and we'll bend our left knee to the center line. Now, if that left knee just isn't happy bending like that, then maybe support it. If you have a yoga block handy, you can use that. Rolled up blanket or a pillow under that knee works. Or if that knee just won't bend like that, then feel free to just kind of put it out of the way and we're going to focus on the right leg. So let's take a big inhale up to the sky. And as you exhale, float forward towards your right foot, right ankle, right knee, shin. And remember to keep your right toes and your right knee pointed up so that there is activity in that right leg. We're relaxing more with the upper body, and the lower body is really starting to feel the majority of the stretch there. However, you might feel that in the low back a little bit as well. Take 2 more of those deep front of the body breaths. Great work. Go ahead and slide up to center and kick that left leg straight out. Wiggle the legs out. We'll switch sides real fast, do the other leg, so bending the right knee when you're ready to switch sides, maybe supporting that right knee. I like to take a big inhale up to the sky first and then float forward over top the left leg, straight towards the toes or ankle with the gaze straight down towards the knee. Relaxing through the shoulders, relaxing through the jaw. Noticing where the stretch is, backing up or easing into it depending on the contentment in my mind. And just know that you can always take a break, you can always back off a little bit. You're in charge of how intense your stretch is. Last breath here. And we'll start to roll up that left leg back to center. And then we're going to join the feet together at center. So the feet come to center, the knees fall apart. This is called cobbler position, better known as butterfly position. And so we don't want to force those knees down. We just want to lean towards the feet with our chest. And that's going to help to open up the inner thighs. Remember, we want to find that spot where it's not too much and it's not too little. Try to relax those shoulders. And if you want to, you can lean slightly from right to left. And as we do that, you're going to feel a stretch in the hip, in the waist, in the ribs, just kind of carving out the pelvis slightly. Don't forget that breath. Come back to center, hang out for one last full body, full front of the body breath. And then we'll start to rise back up. And we'll extend our legs out. Alright, so we're going to do one more hamstring stretch in the back of the legs, and then we're going to move to the front of the leg. But I don't want to do the front of the leg with the kneecap on the ground, so we're going to do it out to the side. So let's separate our feet a little bit. Toes and knees point up, activity in the legs. Let's sweep the hands up to the sky, reaching up as high as you can. Squeeze that breath in towards the spine, and then inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach for your toes. Let's see how far we can reach. Maybe you're at your shins now, and you can really feel that tightness in your legs and in your back. If you're pretty flexible, maybe you can reach for your ankles or your toes even. This is kind of like a test, so remember where you feel it. Remember if one leg is feeling tighter than the other. My legs are feeling a little bit more even now that they're warming up. Let's bring ourselves back up to center. So what I'm going to do is have a seat on my mat here. I'm going to take my blanket out, so if you have an additional blanket, it's great. I'm going to bring my blanket, if you're using one, out to the right. And so that's going to be cushioned for my right leg. So I'm going to lean out to the left here, and as I lean out to the left, my right hip lifts off the ground, and I'm going to sweep my right leg back. So my leg is really far out there, and that's a good angle, but so is a really bent knee, and so is pulling that foot close to the hip. So you have to find the right angle for your leg, for your knee, and if it's just cramping up, maybe, loosen it up again and try it again, so you can always come out of the pose if you need. We're going to drop onto our left elbow. And as I do that, I can start to feel a stretch in the top of my right thigh. And so if you want to feel more, you're going to have to slide that left elbow back so that your chest is in alignment with your left foot. And I can really start to feel the stretch now. Some people will be able to drop back onto their right elbow. So you can try that. I can't quite get there. So I'm not going to force myself. I just want to find that spot where it feels good. And I am going to push it a little bit by pressing my right knee down to the floor and pressing my right hip up to the sky. So I have to squeeze that right butt, that glute a little bit to be able to get that activation to happen. And I can really feel that stretch there in that thigh. Now let's take a big breath and kind of send it to that area. Try to find contentment. It's already within us. We just have to find it. And then we'll release the leg and start to roll out to the left. And we're going to kick that right leg out again. Now it's straight, and you can wiggle it out, and you kind of feel that warmth in the top of the thigh. And so let's take the leg, or the blanket, and we're going to do the left leg. We're going to take it to the left leg. So I take my blanket over to the left, so if you're using a blanket, that's fine. If you're not, it's okay too. As I roll out to the right, I'm going to sweep my left leg back. So find the right angle for your knee, for your thigh, for your body. And we'll drop to our right elbow. This is like step one. Step one is a good place to be, so you can stop there. I'm more tight on this quad. Interesting. It was right thigh, left quad, or right hamstring. And so I'm going to slide back just a little bit so that I can align my chest with my right foot. I really feel that stretch now. Some people will be able to drop down onto their left elbow. But from there we're going to think about left knee down, left hip up. So squeeze the glute a little bit, squeeze your butt, and that's going to really activate the front side of the thigh. Let's take one more big breath, send it to your quadricep there on the top of your thigh. And then we'll start to roll out. Relax that left leg as you roll to the right. And we'll kick our left leg back out straight. Let's test it out. Let's wiggle those legs out, relax them for a moment. And we're going to slide down to our shins or ankles. Let's take a big inhale, sweeping up to the sky to get more length. Reaching up to the sky like you're extending your spine all the way up to the top of your head. And then we'll fold over, seeing how far we can reach. See if it feels a little less intense, if that stretch in the back of the thigh is just a little less than it was before. Or maybe you can reach a little farther. Gotta think of our muscles like rubber bands, and we want to slowly lengthen them. It doesn't all happen at once, so don't worry about comparing yourself to how I look. I do yoga every day. So close your eyes and just notice where you feel the stretch and imagine things becoming a little longer. Let's start to bring ourselves back up to center. We'll do a heart opener by swinging our hands back behind us. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. Look up at the ceiling. If you want to go higher, you can squeeze through your hips, press into your heels, and you're going to lift your butt up off the ground. If that's okay, you can drop your toes down by pointing your toes to the floor. Squeeze. If that's too much on your wrists, don't hold it. Go ahead and drop back down. Let's come to hands and knees. Take a break and grab some water if you need to. So I like to always practice Saucha, and Saucha means cleanliness. So that was our first Niyama that we studied last week. And so that means I like to keep my space nice and clean. Alright, so we're going to drop to hands and knees, tabletop position. I teach a lot of yoga and I teach a lot of massage techniques, and for both, not only do you want to be pressing through the whole palm of the hand, but you want your energy to move through your fingertips. So I imagine that my heart is kind of like this ball of energy, and it expands through to my chest and into my shoulders, down my arms, into my wrists, and then out through the knuckles and through each fingertip. So as you practice yoga, try to imagine that energy moving all the way through so that you're not pushing so much through the heel of your hand on the wrist. However, they will get stronger as you practice more. Let's add some cats and cows in here. So you keep your arms nice and strong, just like this. They don't change. Inhale and drop your belly down. Look forward. And as you exhale, round your spine up to the sky and look back at your thighs. Let's inhale. We call it cow pose. Shoulders back, looking up, hips lifted. Exhale, round the spine. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, heart reaches forward. And exhale, round the spine. One more, on your own. Alright, so it is here in the US Thanksgiving week, and so we gotta pull out the table. This is the tabletop pose, and we've got to pull the leaf out for our family. So we're going to do that here with our body. So we're going to extend the right arm forward, and that's pulling out the leaf forward, pulling the table out. And then we're going to kick our opposite foot back, the left foot. So your left toes could stay grounded if you want, but for a challenge, try to lift your left toes off the ground. I like to look at a little spot on my mat, one of those little squares on my mat. So it's just to hold my gaze. One more breath. Exhale, drop it down. Let's try the other side. So left arm is going to reach out overhead. Right foot kicks back. You can try to lift your right toes if you want that extra challenge. Take one more breath. Inhale, expand the belly. Exhale, drop it down. Let's do it again. Right arm, left leg. Take 3 breaths with the table extended. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. And then exhale, drop the hand, drop the knee. 3 breaths, left arm, right leg. So extend everything out. Bring activity into the arm, into that extended leg. Let's take 2 more full breaths. Feeling some heat building up in the body. Let's drop it down with an exhale. We're going to add on right arm, left leg. We're going to take our right arm straight out, horizontally to the right. Left knee is going to bend. We rotate our knee out and bring that left knee straight out from the hip. So it's like Spider-Man. And then we'll drop it down. Other side. Left arm reaches forward, right leg kicks back. The left arm reaches straight out to the left. Room there. And then our right knee's going to bend, turn the knee out, and pull the leg out to the side so you're like Spider-Man crawling up the wall. And let's drop it down. We're going to round that out. So right arm, left leg. Right arm reaches out, left knee reaches out. Drop it down. Left arm, right leg. Arm reaches out, knee reaches out. And drop it down. It's hard. My butt is burning. Let's do it one more time on each side. Right arm, left leg. Out to the side, drop it down. Left arm, right leg, forward, back, and then out to each side. And drop it down. Let's take a break. Round your back, separate your knees. Slide back. If your hips can meet your heels, that's called child's pose. My knees don't like that so much, so I tend to keep my hips more lifted and drop into like a puppy pose, a playful puppy, with my head and heart melted to the floor, my arms reaching forward, hips lifted, and it's all right if your hips are melted to your heels. Let's take a couple deep breaths to just rest here. No weight on your hands. Try to give your hands a break. Your hands that break. Find yourself to this nice child's pose or puppy pose. One last breath here. And then we'll start to come up to center, back to your tabletop. We're going to roll through into a position called downward dog, so we want to tuck our toes, and when I say roll through, we're pressing up, rolling up off the knees, and our hips lift up to the sky. So our body is shaped like a triangle. Hands and feet grounded with the hips lifted and pointed up like that top of the triangle. We look back at the toes or the ankles. Remember that your heels, they never have to touch the ground. Don't feel like you have to force those heels down, but you are welcome to play with that a little bit. I call it walking the dog, where you press one heel down and bend the opposite knee, and then try it on the other side. Back and forth a couple times. Look from your toes to your hands, and we'll start to walk forward towards the hands. We'll soften the knees, so this is a forward fold. And when you're folding, you don't want your knees to be completely straight, so keep those knees a little bit soft. And we'll start to just hang out, so see if you can find contentment right there. We've really warmed up our hips with all those hip movements, our wrists and hands. They got a little stronger today, I think. And from here, let's start to nod our head yes. Gently tuck your chin to your chest and nod your head no. And come to stillness. We're going to roll up really slow this first time because we've been hanging upside down for a while. So bend your knees and start to just stack through the spine, stacking one vertebra on top of the one underneath. Go slow so that you don't get dizzy. And as you come up to standing, we'll start to sweep our hands all the way out to the side and up towards the sky over your head. And my head and arms might get cut off in the video, so just know that I'm standing up nice and tall, hands to my heart center as we come to this standing position. So this position is called samastiti. It means equal stance or same stance. Samastiti. So we want to make sure that we have the same amount of weight in each foot. So make sure your right foot and your left foot have the equal amount of weight in there. All 10 toes are pointed forward. The knees point forward, the hips point forward. And as well as pointing forward, the knees are stacked over the ankles and the hips are stacked over the knees. And then we'll move up to the upper body where shoulders are stacked over the hips and the ears are stacked over the shoulders. Let's take a deep breath right here, seeing if we can find a bit of contentment right here in this posture. Just standing. Say a prayer for contentment during the practice and out of your practice during your life. Finding that middle ground, always knowing you can come back to center. Let's do a sun salutation here. So traditionally, this is how we salute the sun every morning. Inhale, right here at your heart center. Exhale, bring your hands down to the sides of your body. Ground yourself. Inhale, sweep your hands out and up over your head. And as you exhale, soften your knees like you're going to sit into an invisible chair. Reach your arms out to the sides and start to roll forward, reaching back down to the ground. Now if it's hard to reach the ground, feel free to use a yoga block or a couple books stacked up on themselves to kind of lift the floor up to your hands. Now my knees are really soft while I'm here and I'm reaching towards the floor. And I'm going to just start to straighten one leg and then the other. So as I breathe, I'm going to straighten, say the right leg first, and then we'll exhale and soften both knees. And then try it on the other side, right leg and then left leg, back and forth a couple times. Just one leg at a time. We don't want to overload that nervous system. We've already stretched our hamstrings quite a bit today, so just keep stretching those legs back and forth. Right leg straight and left leg straight. Opposite. Now this constant movement is great for lubricating the hips, lubricating those knee joints, ankles as well. We'll take it to the next step in our sequence. So the hands come up to the shins, up to the ankles or the knees. You want to pretend like someone is pulling on your head and someone else is pulling on your hips. And so it's like someone's, you're getting your spine pulled in two different directions. One is being pulled north or whichever way your head is pointing, and one is pulled in the opposite direction. One more breath. Let's pull that belly up into the spine like you're sucking it in. And then we'll release and bend through the knees, release the hands all the way to the floor. So bend those knees a lot. Let's step our right foot as far back towards the back of the mat as we can, and we're going to come into a high lunge. You're welcome to modify by bringing your right knee to the floor. So it's up to you. I'm going to walk my hands up to the top of my left knee, start to gaze straight ahead. So find something straight ahead that you can stare at. We've got our left knee, that's our front knee, really bent. The right leg can be soft. It doesn't have to go all the way straight. And if you'd like to challenge your balance today, the hands can come to the heart or out to the side, or they can even sweep up to the ceiling. Keep your lower body in that same lunge stance. Inhale. Exhale, staying there. One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, float forward, bring your hands down right by your left foot, and we're going to step our left foot back also so that we're in that downward facing dog position. Look at your toes, look at your ankles. Hike those hips high so that you look like an upside down V. Great job, everybody. Now let's come into a plank position. Plank is kind of like you're going to do a push-up. So roll your body through into that plank position, and we're going to hold it and try to find contentment. It's hard. It's a hard pose. We want our heels to be in alignment with our shoulders. So that means that the hips have to be straight. Drop to your knees. Untuck your toes, and let's lower down. So we're lowering all the way onto our belly, squeezing those elbows into the side. Drop the tops of the feet down into the mat. Start to lift your chin up off the ground. That's called Sphinx position. You start to feel your lower back activating. If you want to go higher, you can choose that. So I'm going to press a little bit into my hands and come up into Cobra, but my elbows are still bent. Shoulders release down. You're welcome to go higher. I'm just not ready for it yet. So I'm going to lower back down to the floor. And then we'll start to press up to hands and knees. Back to tabletop. Tuck those toes under. Roll up to downward facing dog. Make any adjustments that you need to. Reach your right leg high up into the sky. Your left toes are on the ground, and of course both hands are on the ground. And so let's try to drop our left heel down to the floor just as well as you can. Mine doesn't reach. I can't drop my heel all the way down. Bend that right leg, the leg that's in the air. Open up that right hip and knee a little bit. Lengthen it back up. We're stepping our right foot forward and then our left foot forward. Right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, all the way to the top of your mat. Soften those knees. Let your head go. Shake it no. Shake it yes. Maybe so. Inhale and lift your hands to your shins. So your hands come right to the front of your shin. Pretend like someone's pulling on your head and someone else is pulling on your hips. That person pulling on your hips is kind of pulling you back, so maybe you can lift your toes up off the mat. One last breath, pulling your belly button towards your spine. Go ahead and exhale down to the floor. Relax, forward fold. Really soften your knees. Separate your feet wider if you need more room. If you need to get more comfortable, find that contentment. We're going to slowly find our way up. I like to do that with a reverse swan dive, but you can stack your spine like we did before also. So the reverse swan dive, we sweep our arms out like a bird. Let the air catch those wings, press through your feet, slowly rolling, slowly extending up to the sky. Reaching up high. Exhale, hands to the heart center. Couple breaths as we re-ground through the feet, lift through the top of the head, and we'll find that Santosha breath. Santosha. So Santosha means contentment. The front of the body expands, inhaling. With every exhale, it compresses back inward. We're going to do that traditional sun salutation on the other side. Inhale here. Exhale, hands to the sides of your body. Inhale again, sweeping the arms out and up over your head, reaching up high. Exhale, arms sweep back out to the side, soften through the knees as you forward fold down towards the mat. Now remember, if you can't reach the floor, use a block or build up some books so that you can bring the floor to your hands. And let's just, again, we're going to just go back and forth. No rhyme, no reason. Just keep breathing and softening one knee at a time. So my left leg is bent and my right leg is straight. And then I just switch them so that now I feel more stretch in my left leg. My right leg is nice and soft. And then I'm going to switch them. Back and forth a couple times. Looks good. Those of you who I can see, looks nice. Alright, and from here, soften both knees, kind of like you're going to sit into an invisible chair. And then with an inhale, lift your hands to your shins. Get stretched out in both directions, head, hips. Inhale, pull that belly button towards the spine this time. Suck it in, and then we'll exhale to release. Hands come down to the floor, so squat a lot, and we're going to step back with just our left leg this time. So left leg steps back as far as you can. For a challenge, bring your hands up to the top of your right knee and start to find your balance. If you've got good balance here and you really want to challenge your core, sweep your arms out to the side, to your heart, or up to the sky. So a nice high lunge you can modify by bringing that left knee down to the ground. I do soften my left knee a little bit. It's not all the way straight. I feel a lot of stretch on the front of my left hip and a lot of burning going on in my right thigh, keeping it strong. One last breath here. Exhale, float your hands down right by your right foot and step that right foot back to downward facing dog. Look back at your toes, pedal out those heels, feel your calves stretching. Even in downward dog, you don't want your toes to touch. You want your feet to be about 3 to 5 inches apart. Now let's roll into a plank position, like you're going to do a push-up. And remember, your heels need to be in alignment with the shoulders. They might not want to be, but they need to be in that right alignment. Drop to your knees. Untuck your toes and lower down. Great job. We're going to lift up here into a heart lift. So I just start nice and low in Sphinx. A little baby cobra, a little higher for cobra. If you're at that point where you can lengthen your arms and open the chest, that's called upward dog. Take some time for me to get warmed up enough. And then we'll lower back down, cobra, baby cobra, Sphinx, all the way to your belly. Tuck those toes. Find your way back up to tabletop. Make any adjustments. And we'll roll up to downward facing dog. Reach your left leg all the way up to the sky, as high as you can. Try to drop your right heel to the floor. Mine doesn't reach, so it's okay if yours doesn't either. Bend the leg in the air, that's your left leg, so that'll get a nice quad stretch again. Lengthen the leg up, and try to step your left foot forward. Then your right foot. Then your left foot, then your right foot, all the way to the top of your mat. Soft knees. Let's inhale and lift halfway. Straighten the back, straighten the legs. This is our last one, so really feel like your shoulders are dropping away from your ears, your neck is lengthening out. One more breath. Exhale, let everything go. Let your arms go, let your head go, let your jaw relax. Sweep your arms out like a bird. Press through those feet, hinging through the hips. Reverse swan dive, coming all the way up, reaching up to the ceiling, to the sky. Exhaling to your heart center. Great job. Now let's do a quick balance practice. So if you're at home and you need something to grab onto, like a wall or a dresser or a chair, grab something if you know your balance is poor. But we'll start nice and easy. So we're going to start with our right leg being our rooted leg. The left knee is going to bend. So bend your left knee out to the side. See how I went up onto my left toe? And I'm going to bring my left heel onto my right ankle. So my left toe is still on the floor. If you want to, your hands could come here or to your heart center or out to the side. Your choice. And then if you feel good and you want to challenge yourself, slide your foot up to your calf or bring it up into your inner thigh if you want more flexion in your knee. Now in these balance positions, we tend to sink into our ligaments over here in this hip to kind of hold ourselves here, but we need to create core strength. So bring the pressure into this left knee. See how my hips went straight when I pull my weight into my left knee. So that you're nice and straight over top that right leg. It's hard. It is. You can blame it on, the moon and the stars and the planets if your balance is off. Drop it down whenever you're ready. March it out. And we're going to try that on the other side just so we can keep it balanced. So my left foot will now be my rooted one, and my right knee will turn out to the side. You're welcome to keep it low with your heel above your ankle bone and your toes on the floor. And once you feel grounded, then you can adjust into a bigger position, like bringing your foot to your calf muscle or bringing your foot to your inner thigh. Imagine your weight being pulled into the right knee, and that's going to keep you nice and straight over top that left foot. And that's not going to damage your ligaments. When we drop into the pelvis, that's how, later in life we have to get like hip replacements and things like that because those ligaments get overstretched, they get weakened. So we got to keep them strong. Release whenever you're ready. Walk it out. Great job. See some great balance going on in here. All right. Now let's start to relax a little bit. We're starting to slow down. So let's bring ourselves down to the ground. The last thing that we have not done today is we have not twisted our body at all. So let's twist our body a little bit as we come down to the ground. So I use my blanket now as a little pillow. I'm going to bring my hands either onto my pelvis or slightly out to the side, your choice. And we'll start by bringing our legs up, kind of like you're sitting in an invisible chair. And then from here, just take both legs over to the left. And the right hip, right low back will lift off the ground. You can let your legs rest if you'd like. Try to pin that right shoulder to the floor. Try to look over to the right so that you're feeling that stretch all the way, maybe from your right glute up through your ribs and chest. Take a deep breath there. Now let's do the other side. Pull the legs back up to center. Let the spine reset, and then we'll move the legs to the right as we glance towards the left. So if you're like me and you're pretty tight in there, you'll feel that all the way from your left hip through your left ribs, maybe even into your shoulder and neck. And one more breath. We're trying to really let go and relax into that twist. Slowly invite the body back to center. And if you'd like to do that one more time on each side, you're more than welcome to. If there are any other positions that you feel like you need to achieve today, please feel free to do that here, or take some extra time after the practice is complete. to either challenge the body or address some areas of tightness. Eventually, we'll slowly bring the legs to center and drop the feet down to the ground so that the knees are bent and the feet are flat. Back is flat, hands again either on the belly or off to the sides of the body in the mat. I love to let my knees rock from side to side here, just a really gentle window wiper position. And finally, let's take about 3 minutes to just lay and feel our body. So find a position that you can just lay in silently in stillness. So you can just lay on your back with your legs straight. The legs could be bent with the feet flat. You could go for a Baddha Konasana. That means the feet are together, the knees are apart like butterfly wings as you're laying down. You're welcome to try a couple different things. Just find yourself to stillness and let's start to breathe into the front of our body. Contentment. Find a place of contentment. It's right in the middle. It's not too much and it's not too little. Begin to really bring your awareness to your breath, breathing into your belly and your chest and feeling it rise with each inhale. And with the exhale, feeling it compress back into the torso. Squeezing that breath out, breathing in to once again expand and fill up. Breathing out to squeeze that breath, that oxygen out. Now let's bring more awareness to the body by maybe bringing the legs back into the body by bending the knees, maybe rocking the knees a little bit, rocking the hips around, to just bring awareness back into our lower body. Bring awareness into your arms, start to roll your wrists, spread your fingers wide, make fists, roll the wrists around. And let's start to roll to a side. One side, whatever side you like. And start to press from that side lying position up to a seat. Find your bearings, come back to that seated position. Your legs could be long. Your legs can be crisscrossed. If you need some extra time laying on your back or on your side, please feel free to take as long as you need to rise from your practice today. Start to breathe a little deeper once again, just finding yourself in this position, in this shape. Find that place of contentment. Know that whatever storms are brewing around you, whatever direction you're being pulled in, you can always come back to this center, to this place of contentment, because it's always inside of you. Come back to your breath, come back to you. Thank your body for being so strong and so flexible for you today during this last hour. Thank your breath for being this energy that you can pull into your body to cleanse you, to fill you up with that fresh, clean air and energy. And thank your mind for getting you here to the mat today, rolling out the mat with me and having this hour practice. Thank you so much for all your dedication. I bow to you, to each of you who have come and rolled out the mat today. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you all feel much better in your body and hopefully a little bit more content in your mind as well. And I will see you next time.